Hi everybody, 11 Institute welcomes all the students of Standard 9th to part 4 of chapter number 6 Tissues Science. We have discussed in the previous video lecture about the simple permanent tissues which are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Now before moving to the complex tissues, we will see these three types of cells or tissue layers present in plant which have not been classified in the textbook, whether they are simple or complex, and we need not to go in that detail that whether epidermis, stomata and cork which are displaying on the screen are simple or complex, but we have to discuss what is their role in plants, where they are found and what is their structure. Right, it is bit important, and also at the same time it is interesting to discuss the same thing also, that what is the role of epidermis, stomata and cork, how they look, where they are. Fine, we will discuss them today. So before moving into the topic or jumping into the topic or starting the lecture, we would see some images, right? You can see this is the image of stomata, and stomata are generally found in leaves. In the epidermal cells of the leaves means there are many cells like this. Suppose this is first cell, this is another cell, this is another cell, this is another cell. Such many cells will be there, right? And in between those cells, there would be stomata, right? Let me show you like this. There is stomata over here like this, right? So this is a layer of epidermal cells. Now epidermal cell is a general covering. You know the manner in which the animals have skin as the outer layer. In the same way, the plants have epidermis as their outer layer as a protective covering, right? Which is the outermost covering of the plants. And between those epidermal cells, there are stomata. You might have heard this word before, stomata, and stomata are generally responsible for the gaseous exchange in plants. Right, they are responsible for gaseous exchange in plants. You know, plants also respire like us. Plants also respire like us. In animals, oxygen is breathed in and carbon dioxide is removed out. Right, in case of animals. While in case of plants, both things happen. Oxygen is breathed in and carbon dioxide is removed out, and vice versa. Oxygen is breathed out and carbon dioxide is breathed in. This cycle happens during the day and this cycle happens during the night. See, during the day there is sun. The sun rays will fall on the leaves of the plants. There will be chlorophyll inside the leaves, and with the help of all this material, plants undergo the process of photosynthesis during the day. The process of photosynthesis during the day, right? But at night there is no sun present, right? So at night the reverse happens. Oxygen is breathed in and carbon dioxide is breathed out, and somewhere due to this we have been advised by our elderly people at our home that you should not go near to the trees by night, because if you go near to the trees during the night time, they will be breathing out the carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide will be again breathed in by us, which is not good for us, right? And again we are advised by the people that you should go for a morning walk, or you should go near the trees in the morning. Why? Because in morning plants will be releasing a plenty of oxygen, and this fresh oxygen will keep us alive, right? Will keep us fresh. So this is the role of stomata. They perform gaseous exchange, right? And another function which is performed by them is transpiration or transpiration. You might have heard this word before, transpiration. Loss of water by the leaves of the plants in order to circulate the water throughout. We will study this word in detail in the upcoming years or in the upcoming video lectures even, right? But for now, just you have to Keep in mind these two rules that stomata perform these two functions, gaseous exchange and transpiration. How they perform, we will discuss in today's video lecture. But stomata are generally found in the leaf cells, epidermal cells of the leaf, and these are their two functions. We might discuss them in detail. Let me show you some more images. Yes, now this image is actually inverted, right? It is inverted image. Don't worry about it. Just see this layer, right? These are the epidermal cells. Actually, the image is inverted. This part should be displayed upwards and this should be downwards, but that is fine. You can see that these are epidermal cells, normal cells. You can see these are normal rectangular type of cells, right? And between those cells, this is the stomata, right? This is the stomata. This is actually a TS of leaf, transverse section of leaf, a 3D image of it. And these are the stomata we can see responsible for the gaseous exchange. This is the image of transverse section of a leaf showing epidermal cells as well as stomata. Let me show you one more image. Yes. This image specifically represents the cork cells. You know, this is the trunk of the tree. Oh, if you remember, when the plants just start growing from a seed, from roots there will be a development of stem, and then there will be some small branches over here, right? There will be growth of leaf, flower, etc., 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 right? But initially what we have is stem, right? So stem will be having some smaller layers up till this much, but when this stem or this sapling gets converted into a giant tree, the stem will be converted into something else. There will be increase in the thickness of this layer, right? Definitely there will be increase in the thickness or diameter, and this will be converted into a tree trunk. You can see over here. So there are some developments of new layer, right? Which is cork cambium and cork. You can see this outermost layer. This is a 3D image, so it will be very clear. This is the outermost layer. You can see this is developed in the later stage of life of plants. This layer also, cork cambium, right? This living phloem, this is known as secondary growth of plant, right? Initially there is less development, and as the plants grow they will develop new layers around them. You can see this is the internal layer, then there is one more new layer, there is another layer over here, there is another layer over here, and there is another final layer over here. Such many layers develop, and this outermost layer is known as cork, and just beneath it there is cork cambium, the supportive cells of the cork, right? Cork are hard cells. And you might remember, where did we listen first time the word cork? In the previous chapter, chapter number 5, the first cells that were observed by Robert Hooke. I hope you remember this, right? Revision is also important. So first cells that were observed by Robert Hooke inside his self-made microscope were the cork cells, right? And this cork is the outermost layer over here of the tree, not of this stem, right? We will discuss it in detail also. So our today's topic will revolve around this epidermis, stomata and cork. And first of all we will see about epidermis. Fine. So epidermis is nothing but a general outer covering of the cell. General outer covering of the plants. Sorry, not cell. Of the plant tissues. No, other important tissues will be kept in the inside, and epidermis will be the outer layer which will protect all other inner layers of the plants. Let us see it. Yes, see this outer layer is epidermis. You can see there are many layers beneath it. There is phloem, there is xylem, there are parenchyma, sclerenchyma, parenchyma. Everything will be beneath this. But on the top, these cells, these cells that you are seeing over here, I would highlight if you can see. These cells, these normal cells with thin cell walls, irregularly shaped. There is no intercellular space between them. You can see they are tightly adjusted, they are compact. right? There is very less interspace or no intercellular space between them. You can see over here, these simple cells are known as epidermal cells, and their primary function, only function or major function is protection. This is their major function, protection, right? They are present over here. You can see this structure is root hair. If the epidermal cells of root are there, then this is root hair, or simply this is a trichome. No, you need not to go in that much of detail, but just image is given over here. So I would mention these are the hairs that we see sometime coming out of the surfaces of some plant parts, right? So these cells, this single layer of cells, you can see this is single layer. Now there are multiple layers of other cells, but this primary, the topmost layer, the outermost layer that we see over here is epidermis, and its general function is protection. Apart from protection, it will sometimes have different functions, like it will prevent loss of water, prevent loss of water. Apart from that, it will prevent from mechanical injury. It will save from mechanical injury. See, the same function that is done by skin in animals, right? What happens when we fall down? What happens when we are hurt? Right? We get some bruisings on our skin. આપણે ક્યાંક પડી જઈએ તો સ્કિન આપણી છોલાઈ જાય, બટ અંદરના પાર્ટને કોઈ ડેમેજ ન પહોંચે. સેમ ફંક્શન ઇઝ ડન બાય એપિડર્મિસ ઇન પ્લાન્ટ્સ. પડી નથી જતા બટ કોઈ હાર્મફુલ વસ્તુ એની ઉપર અફેક્ટ કરશે તો આઉટર મોસ્ટ લેયર જે હશે એ બધું સહન કરી લેશે, અંદર કોઈને તકલીફ પડવા દેશે નહીં. સો ઇટ વિલ સેવ us or prevent the mechanical injury in the plants, right? And what more you can think that epidermis can do? It will prevent from some infections, or protect. Better word is protect, right? Protect from, specifically as per the textbook, fungal infections. Fine. So these are the basic functions done by epidermis, right? It will provide protection, it will prevent loss of water, it will save the plants from mechanical injury, and it will protect from fungal infections. Now in order to do this, a few epidermal cells release a substance, right, which is quite waxy in nature, quite thick in nature, and it is known as cutin, right? Cutin. This is a special substance released by epidermis over here, such that it forms a thick layer over here, and this thick layer will prevent the loss of water, and it will save from mechanical injury and so on. So you have to remember this name, cutin. Now at times when you touch the surface of some plant parts, sometimes if you touch the surface of leaf, you see that there is some covering on it. Yeah, you can feel that if you touch the surface of the young sapling or a young plant, when you touch the outer surface of the few plant parts, you can see that there is some type of lamination on it, right? There is a thin transparent or translucent layer on it. That is the layer of epidermis, and it releases sometimes the waxy thick substance known as cutin, which will provide these roles or provide these functions for the epidermis. Now let us see what is given in textbook. The outermost layer of cells is called epidermis. See, majority of the things will get repeated, so we will move a bit faster over here. The outermost layer of cells is called epidermis. The epidermis is usually made up of a single layer of cells. You can see there is a single layer of cells, right? Only one layer is over here. You do not find any other second or third layer. There is only one layer of cells, right? Single layer. In some plants living in very dry habitats, right? જે dry જગ્યા છે, જે arid regions છે, જ્યાં પાણીની અછત છે, એવી જગ્યાઓ, in those places the epidermis might be thicker. The epidermis may be thicker. So thicker in the sense the cell જાડા થઈ જાય એવું નહીં. Instead of single layer of cells, there will be 2 or 3 layer of cells, right? Instead of single layer of cells, there will be 2 to 3 layers. So definitely the epidermal cells or the layers will become thick in case of dry habitats. because in dry habitats there is loss of water, right? Water will easily transpire or evaporate from the surface of the plant parts, and in order to prevent such loss of water, the epidermis might not be of single layer, but it can be of 2 to 3 layers. It will become thicker so that you can prevent loss of water in such dry habitats. The entire surface of plant has an outer covering epidermis. I told you the role that skin plays for us, the same role is played by epidermis. It protects all the parts of plants. The general function is protection. This is the general function, protection, right? Since it has protective role to play, the cells of epidermal tissue form a continuous layer without intercellular spaces. This is also mentioned by me. Now they provide protection. So they are tightly packed. You know, this is suppose first epidermal cell, then this is second epidermal cell, this is third epidermal cell, fourth one, fifth one, right? Again I can write over here or display over here. Now there is no internal space between them, which is quite evident from this image, right? Very less intercellular space. Why? Because if you provide a slightest space, something can move inside, or suppose water can move outside. Now we want to protect, so in order to protect, this should be like a seal, you know, there should be no intercellular space between them. આ ઘરની દિવાલ જેવું છે. ઘરની દિવાલમાં બે બ્રિકની વચ્ચે જગ્યા રાખીએ છીએ, નથી રાખતા. જો બે બ્રિકની વચ્ચે તમે જગ્યા રાખો ઘરની દિવાલની અંદર, તો ડેફિનેટલી ત્યાં અંદર વયું જશે और કોઈ વસ્તુ બહાર જઈ શકશે. એ કેસ ન હોવો જોઈએ. ઘરની દિવાલનું કામ શું છે? પ્રોટેક્શન. And when you are protecting, there should be no intercellular spaces over here. They should be tightly packed such that nothing can move in or out easily, right? Yes, only specific things should move in and in out. For that, stomata and etc. other arrangements are there, which we would discuss now. Fine. Moving ahead. Yes. Most epidermal cells are relatively flat. You can see these are flat cells, right? Often their outer and side walls are thicker than the inner wall. Not an important point to remember, but the outer walls are thick and the inner walls are thin. Epidermal cells on aerial parts of plant. Which parts? Aerial parts. Now you should understand what is a aerial part of plant. For example, I give you 3 examples, or suppose for clarity we will write 2 examples over here. Suppose I tell root is a part of plant, and one more plant part I will write over here is a leaf. What do you think is a aerial part of plant, root or leaf? Definitely leaf is a aerial part of plant. Root is not a aerial part of plant. Why? Which one of both is in contact with air? Definitely leaf is in contact with air because it is outside. The root is inside the ground, right? Below the ground, beneath the ground, right? So it will not be in that frequent touch with the air. It will also perform gaseous exchange. This will also perform gaseous exchange, but the amount of air around leaf would be definitely more. It is in frequent touch with the air rather than root. So such parts are known as aerial parts. I hope this is clear to you. What do we mean by aerial parts? So here, instead of aerial parts, you can understand leaf, sometimes stem also. No, few upper parts of plant, the stem of the upper part or branches of the upper part of plants also behave as aerial parts, right? So such parts secrete a waxy substance, right? A water resistance layer on the outer surface. This waxy substance helps you against loss of water, right? First function, against mechanical injury, and against the invasion by parasitic fungi. Now these are some bacterial organisms which harm the plants. Parasitic fungi, I hope you are fine with this. No, sometimes if you have bread, and if you keep the bread as it is for 2 to 4 days, what do we say in Gujarati? આ તો ફંગાઈ દઈ છે, આની ઉપર ફંગાઈ ચડી દઈ છે, રાઈટ? ખરાબ થઈ જાય ને બ્રેડ, બ્રેડની ઉપર મોલ્ડ ચડી જાય. That is fungi. It will catch bacterial infection. The same bacterial infection or this microorganism infection can be carried by plants even, and such thing is prevented by this Vetsy layer, right, that we have over here. So this is the third function performed by this Vetsy layer, which is not released everywhere. It is released only in the epidermal cells of aerial parts. Now if you talk about leaf, in leaf this thing can happen, but if you talk about root, in root this might not happen. Why? Because root is not an aerial part. This thing happens only in aerial epidermal cells. Epidermal, see, now there is a different point for roots. So these 2 points are different, right? This is for aerial parts and this is for the roots. Epidermal cells of roots whose function is water absorption, right? What is the function? Water absorption. Definitely the roots will absorb water. Where do we water the plants? We obviously feed the plants to the roots of the water, and roots will definitely absorb this water, right? Roots will definitely absorb this water. So these roots bear long hair-like parts that greatly increase the total absorptive surface area. So this point is about root hairs. The point is about root hairs. Now suppose this is ground and suppose this is main root, then you can see many structures originating like this, thin hair-like structures. These thin hair-like structures are root hairs, and what they help in, they increase the total surface area. Right, now let us compare. Suppose there is a single root over here. Now if the amount of water that can be absorbed by this is less, and the amount of water that can be absorbed by this is more, because of the presence of these root hairs, which increase the total surface area. Right, I hope this is clear to you. So these epidermal cells will have long hair like parts also. This is a special point for the epidermal cells of the root. In some plants like desert plants, the epidermis has a thick waxy coating of cutin. I have already mentioned this. Cutin is a chemical substance with waterproof quality, right? It will not easily allow the water to get transmitted from one side to another side, right? So it will definitely prevent the loss of water on the outer surface, thick waxy coating. And you can compare this also, where it is in dry habitats, the epidermis may be hidden, not this one. Yes, secrete a waxy substance. Fine. And thick waxy coating. You can compare this. So ultimately this coating is of cutin. And what is cutin? It is a chemical substance of waterproof quality. Now this is a very much important point to remember for MCQs, for fill in the blanks, or in short any 1 mark question. Right, it can be easily asked that what type of waxy coating is being released by epidermis to prevent loss of water, and our answer will be cutin. Right, I hope you remember this. Now you know this is confusing. You might have heard many such substances. We have discussed about cellulose, we have discussed about pectin, we have discussed about lignin, we have discussed about cutin. Now when they come as an MCQ, this might result in confusion, right? You should avoid such confusions, my dear friend, and you should be very clear about this. Fine. So I request you to please pause the video and write these points one by one in your CW with a very good handwriting. And please underline the important points which I have underlined over here. So when you read it, it becomes easy for you to remember a few things. The important things are definitely highlighted over here, and here I have missed the highlighting. So I will highlight total absorptive surface area is increased by the epidermal cells of roots. And why? Because they bear long hair like parts. Right, please pause the video and write this down in your CW. I hope this is clear to you. Let us now move ahead. And now we shall discuss about stomata. Right, this is a very important structure for the plant, very good structure for the plant tissues, and many things are responsible. It is responsible for many events in the plants, right? Let us discuss them. We can observe small pores here and there in the epidermis of the leaf. These pores are called stomata. Understand well. Where is the stomata present? Stomata is present between the epidermis. We have discussed epidermis already. What is epidermis? Epidermis is the outermost layer, right? Epidermis is the outermost layer, and between these cells there will be small pores, and these pores are known as stomata. Fine, like this. Now this is a very good image, I must say. See, these cells that are given over here are epidermal cell. This is the epidermal cell, right? I am highlighting it. This is again an epidermal cell. One more. This is again an epidermal cell, right? This is an epidermal cell. Fine. Now between these epidermal cells there are small pores. Right? This is epidermal cell, right? And between these epidermal cells there are small pores which are known as stomata, right? I hope this is now clear to you and you don't have any doubts. Let us move ahead. Stomata are enclosed by two kidney-shaped cells called guard cells. I will not read ahead. We have to first discuss this much. Stomata are enclosed by two cells, kidney-shaped cells called guard cells. See this one. This is the pore. This is the stomata, right? But here I will highlight it with different color so that it is very much clear to you, right? I hope green one, no. Let us try with it, or let us try with red even. Red will be very clear. See, these cells, no, red is not that clear. We will go with the blue one itself. I will remove the epidermal cells, and now we will go and highlight with the blue one. This is the pore, this is the stomata, and the cell which is present over here, right? These kidney shaped cells, kidney is bean shaped, right? These two cells, this first one and second one, these two cells are known as guard cells, right? They are known as guard cells. And guard cells, I would discuss a bit in detail, which is not given in textbook, are filled with water. These guard cells are filled with water, right? And what is the role of these guard cells? They are necessary for exchanging gases with the atmosphere. They are necessary for exchanging gases with the atmosphere. Fine. Now, how do they exchange gases? It is not given in your chapter for now, but we would discuss that, right? Just for the general knowledge, and it will definitely be in your syllabus in your next year, class 10th. So let us have a small hint about how do they exchange gases, right? How the gases are exchanged by that cells. Fine. So the stomata, you can see here it is open and here it is closed. Now when the stomata is open here over here, the gases can move in as well as they can move out. Depending upon the day or night, either oxygen will move in, carbon dioxide will move out, or carbon dioxide will move in and oxygen will move out. Whatsoever, but we will name this as gaseous exchange when the stomata is open, and when the stomata is closed, there will be no gaseous exchange. So when the stomata will be closed and when the stomata will be open, that is dependent upon the guard cells or how much water is filled inside the guard cells. Now we will display over here. Suppose this is a guard cell. right? And the small pore over here is stomata. Now when the guard cells are filled with water, the stomata will be open, right? Because the guard cells will be turgid, they will be rigid because they are filled with water and they will provide a proper shape, and the stomata will open. But suppose this water is lost, then these guard cells will become like this. Now here the stomata will become narrow, it will become closed when the guard cells lose the water, right? So here comes the role of transpiration. Transpiration is loss of water, right? So due to the transpiration, the gaseous exchange is possible, because ultimately this gaseous exchange depends upon whether the stomata is open or stomata is closed, and whether the stomata is open or closed depends upon how much water is filled inside the guard cells. If water is filled, stomata will open, the gaseous exchange will take place. If water is lost, stomata will be closed and gaseous exchange will also stop. I hope this is very much clear to you. Let us move ahead. Fine, you can clearly see over here opened stomata and closed stomata. Right, when stomata is closed, the water is lost from the guard cells. You can see this part represents water. This is thick over here, this is thin over here. Water is lost. If water is lost, the stomata will become closed, and here water is present, so stomata is open. Right. Transpiration. Loss of water in the form of water vapor also takes place through stomata, but in stomata specifically, the transpiration is done by guard cells. What is transpiration? Loss of water in the form of water vapor. Right? This is important. Transpiration means loss of water in the form of water vapor, and that also takes place through stomata. So these are the three small points given about stomata in our textbook. I request you to please pause the video and write these 3 points down in your CW. Please do that faster. I hope this is clear to you. Let us now move ahead and study about core. But before that, there is a small question for us. Is the outer layer of a branch of a tree, outer layer of branch of a tree, right, different from the outer layer of a young stem? Definitely yes. The outer layer of branch of a tree and outer layer of a young stem are definitely different, because when the stem is young, it is thin. It is thin. Suppose this is a stem, and when it grows, it will become thick. Now, if I take a section from here and if I see inside, there will be some different layers of plant tissues inside. But if I take a section from here, this will be definitely more in diameter. So previously the diameter was this much, and now the diameter has increased by this much part. So definitely new cells might develop over here, right? In this much region, new cells are developed, and this is known as secondary growth in plants. It is known as secondary growth in plants. This much is known as primary growth and development of these extra layers when the stem gets converted into a branch of the tree. Right, there will be secondary growth in plants. I hope this is clear to you. Now, the thing again is growth, and you very well remember which type of tissue is responsible for growth. Meristematic tissue. So, these outer layer, right, this one, these outer layer might contain some meristem. These meristems will divide and develop the new cells on the surface, and there will be growth in the plants. The young stem will be converted into branch of a tree. With the help of a small animation or video, we will try to understand this. Now just see over here. What is this? See, this is stem, right? Now you can see the diameter over here will increase as the plant grows. This young stem will be converted into a big tree. You can see the diameter over here is increasing. It is increasing. It is increasing. Fine. Previously it was very thin. Now it is quite thick. Very much thick. Still it is increasing, still it is increasing, yet thicker, yet thicker. These branches also, they are getting thicker with the time, right? I hope this is clear to you, quite clear to you. The branches also are getting thicker with the time. Fine. I hope you don't have any doubt. So what we are trying to discuss is, previously we were having a very thin stem, and now the diameter of this has increased. So definitely near here there will be development of some new cells, and it will become thick. This development of new cells or new kind of tissues around the primary tissue. Now this is the primary tissue, and around this secondary cells will grow. Right. So there are two types of growth in plants: primary and secondary. This is in the initial stage of life of plants. This is in the later stage of life of plants when they grow. Right. And this is quite clear from this animation that we have seen over here. Right. So this growth of the cells around the previously developed cells will be definitely due to some meristem, and that is known as secondary growth. And due to this secondary growth, now our outermost layer that will be developed will be known as cork, and the inside layer is known as cambium. And some complex tissues also develop. Some xylem and phloem also develops after this. Let us see now what is given in the textbook about this. Yes. This image is also not taken from textbook, but this is a clear comparison of primary growth versus the secondary growth. When it is a young stem, and if you take a section and observe it inside the microscope, this is the outermost layer, epidermis. Right? We have discussed now. આપણે હમણાં discuss કર્યું ને, that the outermost layer is epidermis. And now below the epidermis there will be different types of cells. Below the epidermis there can be parenchyma, there can be polyenthyma, sclerenchyma, xylem, phloem, different types of simple and complex tissues from here to here, from inside to here. But the outermost layer is the epidermis. Now what happens is, if there are some meristematic cells present over here, as with the age of the plant this will grow. Right, so from here there will be development of new layers, right? Secondary phloem, primary phloem, ground tissue, inner bark, and finally, instead of epidermis in young stem, in the branch of a tree, right, the tree which is fully developed, instead of epidermis, this outermost layer will be cork, and just inside the cork there will be cork cambium. જે આપણે ટ્રી નું ટ્રંક જોઈએ, જેને આપણે ગુજરાતી ભાષામાં થડ કહીએ, બરાબર ને? That is our cork, the outermost layer. તમને ફીલિંગ આવશે ને, this is hard, this is quite soft, આનું finish smooth નથી હોતું, the finish of this is smooth. No, if you touch a young stem, કોઈ નાનકડું અમથું પ્લાન્ટ તમે ઘરે હજી જસ્ટ ગ્રો કરવાનું સ્ટાર્ટ કર્યું છે, if you touch the stem it will feel soft, the texture will be soft. But as again, if you are touching the outer surface of a giant tree, if you touch that, it will feel rough to you, right? And that roughness is due to this outermost surface cork, and inside it there is cork cambium. So this is what we are talking about. I hope this is quite clear to you. What is a young stem and a branch of tree, and primary growth and secondary growth, we have gone in much detail inside it. Let us now see what is given in textbook. Right, as plants grow older, the outer protective tissue undergoes certain changes. Which tissue undergoes certain changes? Outer protective tissue. And what is this outer protective tissue? It is epidermis. The outer protective tissue is epidermis. A strip of secondary meristem. See now, quite logical. Always use the logic. People say that in biology you have to mug up or you have to frame up to a certain level, but there is some sense of logic also, right? Definitely, when I say that this is due to growth, and growth means certain changes, and what is responsible for growth? Definitely meristems. They will just divide and get converted into new cell, and after a while they will adopt to a permanent role. Right, so a strip of secondary meristem located in the cortex forms layers of cells which constitute the cork. એટલે પહેલા આટલું જ હતું, right? અંદર જે કંઈ બી હોય તે, the outer layer was epidermis, but now the outer layer will undergo certain changes and it will develop new cells from this So this is the cortex, and the secondary meristem located over here will generate new type of cells over here, right? And as this goes on, there will be clearly the increase in the width, right? There will be clearly the increase in the width. So this development that happens, and now the outermost layer that will be developed over here is known as cork, and just beneath it there will be cork cambium, the supportive tissue of the cork, right? Yes, this image will clear everything in your mind. I hope this is quite clear to you. This was the inner layer. But once it gets developed, it will get converted into some different type of cells, and there will be development of the new outer layers you can see. Now the outer surface appears like this, but there are many layers inside. તમે tree ને આમ વચ્ચેથી કટ કરીને જુઓ તો આવું આપણને દેખાશે. Right? So what is the outermost layer? That is cork. And cork is also known as periderm, but don't remember because it is not given in our textbook. Now below the cork there will be cambium, there will be living phloem, many layers. You can see there are many layers from here to here. Fine. So this growth from here to here that occurs is known as secondary growth. And when does it happen? When the plants grow older. Right? When the plants grow older. I hope this is quite clear to you. Cells of cork are dead, definitely, and compactly arranged without intercellular spaces. Now that is not important to understand, right? That they are compactly arranged. We already know that what is the function of this outermost layer. Now, previously, what was our outermost layer? See, I will write over here. Outermost layer. Now, previously, what was our outermost layer? Our outermost layer was epidermis. And now, what is our outermost layer? Our outermost layer is cork. Now, what was the function of epidermis? Protection. So, what will be the function of cork? That will be also protection. Now we already know that in case of epidermal cells there is no intercellular space. They are tightly packed. So if protection is being performed by epidermis and they are cells which are tightly packed, then in case of cork also there will be no intercellular spaces and the cells will be compactly arranged. This is quite logical. The difference will be the cork cells are dead. The cork cells are dead, and due to this the surface of the cork is hard and rough too. Right? The cells of cork are dead, and due to this outer surface feels rough to us, feels hard to us when we touch them. No, this is quite simple. In case of stem, you can easily bend it. But can you bend this part, the trunk of the tree? No, you cannot bend it. You can bend, but not that easily. Not that easily. Suppose I am having a tree over here and there are many branches then, and here I am having a fresh stem. Now if I tell you to bend this, you can easily bend this, but if I tell you to bend this, not possible. Not easily possible to bend this. It is quite tough. Why? Because the cells are dead over here. Here the cells are living. It is yet growing. It is yet young. I hope this is quite clear to us. Let us move ahead. Yes, very much important point. They also have a substance called suberin in their walls that makes them impervious to gases and water. Who have cork cells? These outermost layer of cells have an important substance called suberin. Again, a new substance has arrived and you have to remember it. Suberin. And what is the role of suberin? It will make it impervious to gases and water. Means the water and gases cannot easily move inside through this part, only through the cork, right? Now if you can understand, if there is an entire tree, where will I put the water? I will definitely put the water near the roots, so that the water will be absorbed by the roots and then it will be transmitted throughout the body through tissue known as xylem. Now if I want to exchange gases, where are the gases exchanged from? Generally from the aerial parts. But this tree trunk is impervious to gases and water. The gases cannot easily move inside outside. The water means this cannot affect the tree directly from this part. Definitely gases and water are exchanged by the plants from different parts, but as far as the cork cells are considered, they become impervious. And why they become impervious? Because of suberin. I hope the meaning of impervious is clear to you. The permeability will be affected for gases and water through the cork cells, and that is due to the presence of suberin inside it. Right, so again a new substance is arrived, and you have to remember the name. This will be again a very much important 1 mark question. Where is suberin present? In epidermis, in cork cells, in parenchyma, in collenchyma? Your answer will be in cork cells. Right, I hope this is clear to you. Fine. So please pause the video and write these points down in your CW. I hope you have written them. Let us move ahead and see some question and answers. Right, this image was previously displayed to you. I hope this is clear. What are we talking about is cork and cambium. Let us move ahead. And yes, this is your question. How does cork act as a protective tissue? So I hope you have written this in your CW, and this is the answer for how does the cork act as protective tissue, but you don't have to write this point in it. When you write the answer, you need not to write this point, right? Just start from here. How does cork act as protective tissue? This is the question, and from here it is the answer, right? This is the answer. How does cork act as protective tissue? These 3 points are your answer, which you have to write in CW. This is a textbook question, right? So think you already have written this. Just write the question near it, and in case you have not written, write this question and write these 3 points as your answers. Fine. I hope this is quite clear to you. Let us now move ahead. And one more question we have: what is the role of epidermis in plants? Definitely protection. We have seen all this, right? This is just a repetition, but given in a proper manner as a question and answer. So please note down this in your CW. And also one more question: what are the functions of stomata? We definitely know that. Sorry, I have not written this over here. I would just change the answer. Wait for a minute. Yes, so I have corrected this. You can write these are the functions of stomata. They are responsible for gaseous exchange, and they also perform transpiration. Fine, these are the two things that you have to write: exchange of gases and transpiration. So please pause the video and write both these answers down in your CW. Right, and whenever you write the answer, try to underline the important things. For example, what is the main point over here? To protect by forming a continuous layer, right? To prevent loss of water. Fine, to saturate a wet sea water resistant layer like cutin. To prevent loss of water, mechanical injury, and invasion by parasitic fungi. Try to underline such points so that it becomes easy for you to remember, and at the same time, it becomes easy for the paper checker, right, to see whether you know it perfectly or not. It will create a good impression. હા પછી એમને અંડરલાઈન નહીં કરી જવાનું બરાબર ને હા જ્યાં મન ફાવે અહીંયા ઇનમાં અંડરલાઈન કર્યું મજા આવી એવું ન હોય right. So I hope you have written this. Let us now move ahead. And yes, we are now done with the simple tissue. We have discussed about parenchyma, chlorenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, some different type of tissues like or cells like epidermis, stomata, cork, cambium. And in the upcoming video lectures, now we will start discussing about xylem and phloem, which are our complex tissues. And you can clearly see these are single type of cells, and these are more than one type of cells, which we mean by multiple type of cells. There are companion cells, there are food storage cells, different type of cells. No, this is one type, second type, third type. Here there is only one type of cell. Here there are more than one type of cells. So in next video lecture we will discuss about xylem and phloem, and that will be the end of our plant tissues, and then we will move ahead with the animal tissues. Fine, so your homework is the question answers. You have to write in CW and memorize them and read them. We will now meet in the next video lecture. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye. Take very good care of yourselves. Thank you.